I have the song stuck in my head. Where'd all the time go from TikTok? You have time to scroll. You have time for goals. I feel like the absolute most common excuse people give for not being able to achieve their goals is, I don't have time. And I'm calling BS, because if something is important to you, you can find the time, you can make the time, or you can realize that you do have the time already. In this video, I want to give you 3 actionable ways that you can find more time in your life and make that time that you can actually spend on your goals. I don't think people have a time management problem, but more of a time knowledge problem. I have a theory that I don't think people know where their time goes. And I don't mean this in a, you gotta track every second, you gotta calendar block, you gotta have a rigid schedule. I think it's the in-between moments that people are losing time in their days. For the purpose of this video, we're calling those time leaks. First tip is identify your time leaks. Where are the moments in your day that you seem to lose time and you're like, where did that 15 minutes go? Where did that hour go? And I know you're probably thinking, scrolling. It's those moments in between the blocks of time that are committed to already that are often overlooked in the day-to-day planning of your goals. But I find that making the most of those little moments has gotten me further, not just toward my goals, but just toward having more peace of mind and feeling like I have more time and more control over my day. So time leaks. Let's address your time leaks. Where are the moments in your day where you just seem to lose track of time, and not in like a flow state way? I'm talking like, my one best friend has a habit of sitting in her car when she gets places or when she's about to go places. And I honestly think that's a huge time leak for her, because she looks at her phone while she's in her car, and I think she loses track of time because it's like a transitional period. And transitional periods can lead to boredom, and boredom can lead to, we all know this. We hate to break it to ourselves, but we know this. In order to prevent your time leaks from turning into scroll breaks, I want you for 1 week to try to plan your scrolls in. This will not only make scrolling more enjoyable because it becomes like a scarce resource, but the intentionality of it will make you aware of what you're consuming and what you're getting out of it. I like to set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and just have a nice little scroll on my phone. And oftentimes I will find that at minute 8, I'm like, okay, I've seen enough reels, I've seen enough shorts, I've scrolled through enough carousels. Like I get it. I got the point of social media today. I mean, I think it's interesting to even to ask yourself after you scroll, like, what did I get out of that? Like, what was the main takeaway of that scroll? If it was unplanned. If it was a planned scroll, just enjoy it. You're allowed to enjoy social media. That's completely normal. That's completely allowed. But making it an intentional thing instead of giving into it when you're bored will make it so much more rewarding to use and prevent you from associating boredom with scrolling, because boredom is a really important part of life. And that's kind of where we bring goals and time leaks together. I like to see moments of boredom throughout my day. So, waiting in lines, being in the car if somebody else is driving, obviously, waiting for my friends to get to the gym in the morning, as opportunities to have a little think. Just to pick something, pick a problem that has been kind of mulling around in my mind that's related to my goals somehow, and intentionally think about it for a few minutes. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but oftentimes a solution will just like pop into my head, and I'll have to run to my notes app, as if I'm writing, run to my notes app, run to my Notion page actually, and write out what I realized. I'm a firm believer, and I know that other channels have said this, Shelby, that your mind is always working in the background to solve problems for you. And if you give it a chance, it will serve up ideas throughout your day, especially in those little moments where you're not occupying it with something else. Okay, for this next tip, I don't want it to sound like I want you to audit your time, because that is not at all what the point is. If you have an Apple Watch or a smartwatch or even a phone, you can do this. You can set a 15-minute timer. Simply set it and forget it. Set it or be intentional about what you're deciding you're going to do. That's the more advanced version. It's ridiculous. Set a timer and go about your business. And then when that timer goes off, I want you to see where that time went and repeat the timer. Do it again. And it doesn't have to be 15 minutes. 15 minutes can be a little bit too quick for some people or for some, but I find that 15 minutes, in the words of Sabrina Carpenter, I can do a lot in 15 minutes. I know I've said that on this channel before. Is the perfect amount of time to be aware of what you're doing and not forget that you're supposed to be being aware of what you're doing. It is so important throughout your day to make the moment, I was going to say to make the time, but honestly, just to make the moment to pause and decide what's next. To pause before you jump into the next task. That's going to give your brain a second to recalibrate if you're going from a social task to a chore task. It's going to give you a moment to be more intentional about what you're doing with your time. But when it comes to bigger goals, goals that take a little bit more time commitment, like this, like filming a YouTube video, I truly believe that if you set up a system that allows you to feel accomplished, even if you've done a minimal amount of effort toward that goal, you are going to feel like you've made progress. And progress is all you can ask for. So maybe you are trying to post more on Instagram and you don't feel like you have time to think of a whole caption and make a whole reel and all that stuff, but maybe you can take 5 minutes to organize your camera roll and put some photos in a folder that you want to post. When you're able to identify the little ways that your time is being sucked away from you, your phone, you're able to give your phone the time and energy it deserves. Like, treat your phone and your scrolling like you would treat a friend. Like, be present with it, enjoy it, then put it down. I promise this will give you time back, and it will also make you realize that there is not a lot of value in scrolling, especially if you're doing the what did I learn from this scroll. I do want to give the caveat that there are people with children, there are people who are carers, there are people who have a lot more responsibility than I do that still want to make time for their goals. And not everyone can get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym, come home, work on stuff. Like, I am very privileged in that way, and I'm aware of that. But there is room. There is room in your day. There's room when you're waiting. There's room when you're transitioning to have a little think. Have a little think about your goals. And that counts as progress. And if you see that as progress, I promise you, you will start to feel better about your goals and making that long-term vision a reality. If you feel like you can experiment with this week, let me know in a comment, because I want to see if social media feels more intentional, and I want to see if you feel like 15 minutes is longer or shorter than you anticipated. Sometimes I'm shocked. Sometimes I'm absolutely shocked by having a timer running. Like, it's the power of like a little bit of pressure, but a soft pressure and a self-imposed pressure is powerful. It's powerful. If you can get 3 little thinking sessions in your day while you're brushing your teeth and washing your face, changing your clothes, driving to the gym, whatever it is, your mind will give you answers. Your mind will give you ideas. It is up to you to action those ideas. The time you get back from avoiding the scroll that is only induced out of boredom it's gonna be shocking, I promise you. So don't think of this as a time audit thing. Like, this is not, I'm not asking you to do that at all. I'm just asking you to be aware. This is a time awareness thing. I have the song stuck in my head, Where'd All the Time Go, from TikTok. Time is not slipping away. You are just misusing it. You have time to scroll. You have time for goals. Trademark that. I am a little dependent on my time timer, which is just literally a kitchen timer. I can link it. I can link it in Amazon. I'll include a picture of it. This thing, I love my time timer. It is a visual way, other than the visual of having it on your phone or your watch, a visual way to watch time go by. So highly recommend investing in a time timer. I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, please leave me a like, comment, subscribe. I am new at this still, and I'm trying to figure out where I fit into the YouTube world, and I just want to share the things that have worked for me, because I have overhauled my life in the past 2 years, and being aware of where my time is going has been a huge part. So with all that being said, I hope you have an aware week, a mindful week, an intentional week, and I will see you in the next video.